Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Easy Way to Learn. I'm Shailja Tripathi and today we'll be discussing decomposition reaction. So let's get started. So decomposition reaction basically means we are breaking down substance into simpler substances. This breaking down takes place with the help of energy that is provided to the substance. So energy can be provided in three forms: in the form of heat, electricity, or sunlight. Or sunlight. So we are going to study the reactions which can be decomposed in presence of heat, then in presence of electricity, or in presence of sunlight. A decomposition reaction is carried out in presence of heat. We call it thermal decomposition. So first we will be studying the reactions which are carried out in presence of heat. It is called thermal decomposition reaction. So in thermal decomposition reaction, basically we are going to study three reactions: decomposition of ferrous sulfate, then decomposition of calcium carbonate, and decomposition of lead nitrate. So we'll be studying these three the thermal decomposition reactions and observing what are the changes taking place during the reaction. So our first reaction is decomposition of ferrous sulfate, FeSO4. I already told you iron exists in two states, +2 and +3 state. So when it exists in +2 state or when valency is 2 plus, it is ferrous salt, and when it is in +3 state or when valency is 3, we say it is ferric salt. So basically we are taking a ferrous salt which is green in color. So this is a green salt and it is present as ferrous sulfate, 7 water molecules, dot 7 water molecules. What does this mean, dot 7 water molecules? This means it has 7 molecules of water chemically combined with the salt. So this is called water of crystallization. Water of crystallization. See, not all salts will show water of crystallization. Like sodium chloride does not show water of crystallization. Whereas copper sulfate, some of the salts which show water of crystallization are copper sulfate, 5 water molecules, sodium carbonate, Na2, CO3, 10 water molecules. These are some of the examples, common examples of salts which show water of crystallization. Now, what is water of crystallization? It is the amount of amount of water that chemically combines with one formula unit of a salt or a substance. So, I'll write down the definition. See, water of crystallization is number of water molecules water of crystallization is the number of molecules chemically combined with one formula unit of substance. See, generally salts which show water of crystallization are colored. For example, ferrous sulfate is green in color, copper sulfate is blue in color. See, FeSO4, 7 water molecule is green in color, and such salts are called hydrous salts. Hydrous or hydrated salt. Hydrous salts. So when we heat them, or when we just start heating them, so before decomposing, it will first lose its water of crystallization. So ferrous sulfate on heating will lose water of crystallization, and this 7 water molecule will be removed from the salt. Now this ferrous sulfate without 7 water molecules is called anhydrous ferrous sulfate. So ferrous sulfate with 7 water molecule is called hydrous or hydrated ferrous sulfate, and salt ferrous sulfate without 7 water molecules is called anhydrous ferrous sulfate. So this must be clear that this salt is showing water of crystallization. So it is also mentioned in your book here. See, in this reaction you can observe that single reactants to break down to give simpler product. This is decomposition reaction. Ferrous sulfate crystal lose water when heated and the color of the crystal changes. So when it loses its water of crystallization, it will become white in color. So this green salt will first turn white because color is due to water of crystallization. See, after losing water crystallization, now it on further heating it will start decomposing. So here the reaction is given is ferrous sulfate, which is anhydrous, that is water is already lost, and now decomposition reaction is only shown here. So you can understand this. See, if we write in this manner, if we are showing decomposition of ferrous sulfate with 7 water molecules, so on decomposing, it will form ferric oxide, Fe2O3, plus two gases are evolved, sulfur dioxide plus sulfur trioxide. These are gases, and 7 water molecules will also be formed. So during balancing, what we do, we can cancel out these 7 water molecules from both the sides. Hence the reaction what we are writing is of anhydrous salt. So you can add one more word here, anhydrous ferrous sulfate. So this will make it more clear. Anhydrous, ROUS. Okay. So water molecules are not shown in the reaction. Okay. See, this ferric oxide is nothing but rust. So its color is rust, that is black to dark brown. See, ferric salt color change is not given here, but it is black or reddish brown. So on heating, first the green color will change into white because it will lose water of crystallization, then decomposition starts, and now the color changes to black or reddish brown. And these two gases are evolved which can be detected with the help of the characteristic odor. So the characteristic smell is just like burning odor, sorry, burning sulfur. So you can also smell the characteristic odor of burning sulfur. So here we can detect the gas just by smelling it. So it smells like burning sulfur. Burning sulfur. So two changes that we are observing is that final product is reddish brown in color, that is ferric oxide, and two gases that are evolved are can be detected with the help of their peculiar smell, that resembles burning sulfur. This you can feel that while we are burning or lighting the crackers, the odor that comes out or the smell or pungent smell that you get is that of burning sulfur. Okay. So now let's balance the equation because balancing is most important. Fe2, see, first we'll balance iron, metal part, so put 2 here. Now we have sulfur 2 atoms, and 4 2s are 8 oxygen atom on LHS side, and here we have 3 plus 3 6 7 8. Now the equation is balanced. First balance the metal part, that is iron, followed by sulfur and then oxygen. Okay. See, in the activity, you take the salt in a boiling test tube and start heating. Initially, we'll observe droplets of water on the cooler part of the test tube. You can detect it with the help of litmus paper. Water is neutral to litmus paper, so it won't show any change. Then start heating it thoroughly. On further heating, we get the color change, final color change is brown, reddish brown, and you get these two gases which are detected with the by their peculiar smell. See, next thermal decomposition reaction is heating calcium carbonate. See, calcium carbonate again is a white salt. On heating it, we get calcium oxide, CaO, plus gas CO2 is released. So here we can detect the gas by passing through lime water, or which is also chemically slaked lime, which turns milky. See, calcium carbonate, this is called limestone. Calcium oxide is commonly called quicklime. See, calcium carbonate exists in nature in many forms like marble, eggshell, chalk. So all these are various forms of calcium carbonate, and one of the form is limestone. Okay, now let's see the balancing part. Calcium 1 atom, carbon. So it is a balanced reaction. This triangle shows or represents heat. So you can write down in words as it is mentioned in the book, that above the arrow you write heat or you put this symbol of triangle. See, one important thing, a note that you should make here, that this reaction is industrially important because the product calcium oxide is called quicklime. It has many uses. One is in the manufacture of cement. So this question is often asked. Give one use of calcium oxide. So it is used in manufacture of cement. Okay, here definition of thermal decomposition is also given. When the decomposition reaction is carried out by heating, it is called thermal decomposition. The next example of thermal decomposition is when we heat lead nitrate. Is 2, so, and nitrate ion valency is 1. So I'll write down Pb 2 plus, that is valency is 2, and nitrate, a polyatomic ion, has valency 1. So you cross multiply the valencies, PbNO3 twice. This 2 of lead will come here and valency 1 will automatically come to lead. 1 is not shown while writing the formula. Okay. Lead nitrate on heating will form the product lead oxide. This is also called lead monoxide, and brown fumes of nitrogen dioxide gas is evolved, plus oxygen is also evolved during the reaction. Okay. Lead oxide is yellow when hot, white when cold. So this is the observation. Yellow when hot and white when cold. Nitrogen dioxide is a colored gas, so you can easily recognize it because of its brown fume. So this is a gas which is brown in color. Oxygen is colorless gas, but we can detect this gas by bringing a burning candle near the mouth of the test tube, and the candle will start burning more brightly. So on bringing, these are the two tests for the gases. Nitrogen dioxide is detected by its brown color and oxygen rekindles the burning flame. So these are the 3 examples of thermal decomposition reaction given in your book. Okay, balancing of lead nitrate. Decomposition of lead nitrate. See, PbNO3 twice on heating will give PbO plus NO2 plus O2 gas. See, we already have 2 nitrogen on LHS side, so we can simply start by putting here 2. Lead is already balanced. Now let's see oxygen atom. On LHS side we have 6 oxygen atoms. Here we have 2 twos of 4, 5, 6, 1, 7 atoms of oxygen on the RHS side. So if we put here 2, let's see what we get. 2 twos of 4, 2 twos of 4, that is 8 plus 1, 9 atoms of oxygen on LHS. Again it is unbalanced because here there are 6 and on RHS we are getting 9 atoms. So what we can do is put 2 here and let's see. The moment we put 2 here, lead becomes unbalanced. So we'll again have to balance lead by putting 2 on the LHS side. Now we have 2 2s of 4 nitrogen atom. So again we have to make change here by writing 4 nitrogen atoms. Now let's see. See, we have 2 2s of 4, 4 3s are 12 oxygen atom on LHS side. Here we have 2 plus 4 2s are 8 plus 2. Again oxygen atom. Now it is balanced. So you'll have to practice balancing, which is not very difficult part. Now we come to water is decomposing water with the help of electricity. That is, by passing current, we can decompose water molecule. So the term electrolysis, see, lysis. Let's understand this word. This word electro means electricity. Electricity. And lysis means to break down. Hence the name electrolysis. So we are breaking down water molecule by passing electricity. Hence the name electrolysis of water. So let's write down the equation first. See, water molecule on passing electricity will give two gases, hydrogen gas plus oxygen gas. Now let's balance the equation. See, 2 oxygen on this side, put 2 here. So hydrogen is 4 atoms. So here we'll write 2. So this is the balanced equation. Now let's see how the activity is performed, and you have to draw this diagram also. Practice this diagram because this is often asked in exams, to draw the diagram. So you practice this diagram. Okay. So what in activity, we'll take a plastic mug and drill 2 holes at the bottom. Now we'll fit a rubber stopper in these holes and insert carbon electrodes. So these 2 black are graphite or carbon electrodes. So graphite is a form of carbon. So the carbon electrode and graphite electrodes are one and the same thing. So these are same thing because graphite is one of the forms of carbon. I can show you. See, this is graphite electrode present here in this mosquito liquidator. So this is pink color. So it can be of any color, but generally it is black in color. So this helps to conduct electricity into the liquid, and this liquid keeps evaporating, and hence it acts as a repellent. So this chemical evaporates, it is not decomposing here. Amount of electricity is so small that it is just giving enough heat to evaporate the liquid. So depending upon how much electricity you are supplying, it will further break down the water molecule. So these electrodes will conduct electricity to water. Okay, then we place 2 inverted test tubes. First fill it with water, then invert it over the electrodes. Okay, now we'll make the connection. So the positive terminal is called anode and the negative terminal is called cathode. Okay. And one more important thing, in water we'll add few drops of sulfuric acid. See, add few drops of sulfuric acid to the water. Why? What the sulfuric acid is added? See, water is a neutral molecule. To conduct electricity, we need ions. So, water is neutral, so it won't conduct electricity as quickly because in experiments we take distilled water. So distilled waters are already devoid of any ions. That is, they do not have ions. So water is a neutral molecule. So we need to add some ions. So sulfuric acid is added. The moment sulfuric acid is added to water, it ionizes to form H positive and SO4 2 negative sulfate ions. So presence of ions help in conduction of electricity. This is the reason we add few drops of acid, because sulfuric acid will ionize very quickly to give ions, and these are charged particles and charged particles are carrier of electricity. So this is the reason we add sulfuric acid. So this is one question that is often asked, that why, explain why or give reason why few drops of sulfuric acid are added. Okay. When the current is switched on and leave the apparatus undisturbed for some time, we see bubbles rising on both the electrodes. Now, which gas is collected at which electrode? First, you have to remember this. See, hydrogen is collected at cathode and oxygen is collected at anode. So these gases, again this question is asked, name the gases which are collected at the respective electrodes. Okay, so to remember this, one easy trick is that hydrogen starts with alphabet H and this cathode also has alphabet H. So this is one way of remembering. You can make your own ways, but this is one of my methods. See, hydrogen here H and cathode H. So hydrogen is liberated at cathode. You can memorize it in this manner. Obviously, the other gas will be at anode. Next question that is asked, is the volume of gas collected is same in both the test tube? So we see the gases collected are not equal in amount. So which gas is collected or produced in larger amount? So this we can easily make out from the balanced equation. See, just observe this stoichiometric number. Here nothing is written, so read it as 1. So how will read it? 2 volume of water will give 2 volumes of hydrogen and 1 volume of oxygen. So obviously hydrogen is produced twice the volume as compared to oxygen. So again, is the volume collected the same? No, they are not produced in equal amount. Hydrogen is produced twice the amount as oxygen gas. Okay, test these gases by bringing a burning candle close to the mouth of test tube. Okay, when we bring burning candle, hydrogen will burn with pop sound. So here you get a pop sound. This is test for hydrogen gas. It burns with pop sound. At the same time, oxygen is also produced, so it will brighten the flame of candle, or you can write oxygen rekindles See, rekindles, rekindles the burning candle or rekindles the flame. That is, the flame start burning more brightly. So you will get this pop sound, and also the flame will start burning brightly. So these gases are collected in different test tubes. So you bring the test tube out from the water by putting thumb on the open mouth of the test tube. So this will prevent gas from escaping. Then bring the burning candle near the test tube and you will get these two observations. Decomposition reaction in presence of sunlight. So here we have two very good examples of decomposition reaction in presence of sunlight. That is decomposition of silver chloride and silver bromide. See, silver chloride turns gray in sunlight. This is due to decomposition of silver chloride into silver. So silver chloride will turn gray because of formation of silver, and this gas chlorine is produced, which is again a colored gas. It is greenish colored gas. Greenish colored gas. So let's write the equation and let's balance it. It is easy. So you get silver plus chlorine gas. See, it is a diatomic gas. See, like hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, chlorine, bromine. These are all gases which are diatomic. Diatomic. So you must remember this. These are all diatomic gases. Balance this. See, two chlorine atoms on RHS side. So we put 2 here. Now metal is unbalanced. Now put 2 on the RHS side. It is balanced. Okay. Above the arrow you will write sunlight because the reaction is taking place in presence of sunlight. Okay. Now silver bromide also behaves in the same way. Silver bromide AgBr will again form silver plus bromine gas is evolved. This is orange color gas, orangish gas. Orange gas. So both chlorine and bromine are colored gases. Again, it is taking place in the presence of sunlight, or you can also write in place of sunlight, you can write H nu. Nu. This is also symbol for sunlight. That is, reaction is taking place in presence of sunlight. So if it won't be generally given in class 10th book, but in case you find somewhere written as H and this Greek alphabet nu, this also represents sunlight. So don't get confused. This H nu is also representing sunlight. This you must be clear, because if in question paper by chance if it is asked, so don't get confused that what this is representing. This is sunlight. Okay. So the above reactions are used in black and white photography. This question is often asked. Give one use of the reaction. And what form of energy is causing thermal decomposition? So we have seen that decomposition requires energy in the form of heat, light or electricity for breaking down the reactants. Okay, we are supplying energy in these three forms. So reaction in which energy is absorbed is called endothermic reaction. So all decomposition reactions are endothermic because we are supplying heat to the reaction. So you can make one important note in your book or wherever you are preparing your notes, that all decomposition reactions are exothermic in nature. Endothermic. Sorry, they are endothermic. Endothermic. If reason is asked, especially in assertion reason question type, so if this is the assertion, reason will be because we are supplying energy either in the form of heat, light or electricity to break down the reactant. Hope you understood the topic well. Please like, share and subscribe. And in the next video, I'll be taking up displacement reactions. Thank you so much.